Hey, that's kind of cool. The heat shrink is making it into the hole, so that's even more protection. Didn't plan that.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? EXO coming at you here, feeling super pumped for today's installment of the big bass build. Been busting some serious butt over here. Now it's time for one of my personal favorite steps, wiring. That's right, our subwoofer box is officially ready to start running wires. Now to go about all this, I think I'm gonna do things slightly differently as usual and go incognito on the wiring. That's right, I think there's something to be said when you can just barely see all the intricate wiring for a multiple sub setup, especially with dual voice coils. Holy smokes, you can have some spaghetti on your hands real fast. So here's what I'm thinking. Hide all of the wires inside the existing framework of the baffle. It's steel tubing and hollow, so it's just begging for some 4-gauge to be crammed down inside of it. I think that would be perfect. Just imagine this, having a nice isolated post right here underneath, and having the wire, we'll have a small hole drilled out for it, plumbing through and connected to it just like that with a lug. Oh my gosh, that would look so beautiful. I would love to see that. So that's what I think I'm gonna gun for, something really neat looking like that. There's only one little thing standing in our way, but it's really no big deal. Let me show you that real quick. Now, as you can see, we already got one run of 4-gauge shoved through the tube, and it does fit in just fine, even with the hardware installed. But man, it would be a heck of a lot more smooth sailing and shoved through easier if we just temporarily remove these for now. I already shoved this in as it is, and there's enough free space and it's loose enough to respond just by jiggling it lightly, but it would make our job a heck of a lot easier just to remove these for now, row by row, and just do it that way. Then when we replace them, it'll just kitty corner the wire off to the left or the right perfectly all the way down. With the way things are lining up with the square tubing, each opening can port directly through the cage, and luckily the gaps in between all this are only wood, so we'll just have to drill through and space out the wires accordingly. First step though, freeing up space inside the tubes for running 4-gauge. Let's get busy. Hardware removed, tube is hollowed out. You can already see how much more freely that 4-gauge moves in there. Heck yeah, making our job easier. I'll go ahead and blow it out with an air compressor, make sure there's no hidden shards of metal in there when we did all our drilling. But for the most part, we're moving right along. I just gotta do the next step backwards to make it easier on us. Imagine plumbing through the cage into this tube and trying to get a 90-degree bend with the wire in there. Yeah, right, bub. So I'm gonna do it backwards in reverse with some pull string and keep the wires organized, so once everything's plumbed through the cage, it's all labeled and ready to go. Nice, that went really smoothly. Looking good over here, got all the holes drilled for plumbing through our wires nice and neatly. Next step is just using this really lightweight pull string, just something easy enough to blow through the center of the tube on its own right and fish through our fancy dancy full tilt 4-gauge, man. Holy smokes. I've always been kind of a welding wire kind of guy, but since I didn't have any 4-gauge on hand, picked up this nice stuff from Showtime over there. It's really high quality OFC. So I blew out the centers of the hollow tubes just to make sure there was no shards of metal in there, and I ran through a periscope camera doohickey just to check on the state of things to make sure there were no shards of metal in there. So I'll start fishing through this string right here and get this wire ran once and for all. Now for this next part, we got a little bit of a Where's Waldo situation on our hands. I know I have some lugs somewhere over on the bench, but I need to find my hydraulic crimpers because that's the reason why I left all this slack on the lines. They're just dangling here because that tool's kind of long and cumbersome. So we had left enough to fit it in there and clamp some nice strong lugs on the end. That thing's really, really strong. So once that's done, I'll pull through the rest of the slack on the line. Woo! So we have only about this much wire sticking out from the hole. It'll be like, how the heck did you get those clamped on there? So it'll be really cool looking. So let's go ahead and get that process started. I just gotta find it somewhere in this mess over here. Man, that was ridiculous. I can't wait to get this stupid shop built. Ah! Hey, at least it blends in with the rest of the shop. Dang it, I forgot the freaking heat shrink. Can't go without that. That really ties everything together in the end, but I know I don't have any of that on hand. So it looks like we're driving back down to Knoxville, man. Let's see what Showtime has to offer. All right, let's see what we got down here at the shop. I guess that's one of the perks of working at a car audio store. When you run out of supplies, you got people like Remy to help you out. Man, I ran out of heat shrink, dude, right in the heat of the moment.
Buddy, that's easy. We got plenty.
It's blue and black, though. What do you got for me?
So you said purple and green, 4 gauge, 8 gauge. How many you need? 20, 30, 150?
I need 24 and 12, both of 8 and 4, and I need blue and black, buddy.
All right, so 0 gauge. You need 7 of each. 4 gauge black heat shrink there. Blue, all good to go.
You the man, dude. Thank you so much. There's nothing worse than running out right in the middle of a project and having to waste like an hour and a half freaking coming down. I love, as much as I love seeing your face, I'd rather be up there working on this stuff right now.
I don't blame you. I wouldn't look at me either. You know, I may not be pretty, but I can juggle. Watch it.
So heck yeah, these pre-cuts should be great for us. Now the only question is, how much do I owe you, man?
All right, so it's gonna be about $48.27. But if you run down to Subway and give me a sandwich, you know, I'll be good to go. Don't worry about it.
Right along, fellas. Got all the lugs crimped and heat shrunk on there. Really looks the part too with that freaking logo on there. I don't usually have that, so it's kind of cool to have for something new. Now we just need to finish slacking through, or fishing through, I should say, all this slack. We want to bring it nice and tight into this half radius for those isolated posts. So I'm just gonna floss it right through. I gotta remember which one is which. I think this is it right here. Yep, and then just slowly, inch by inch, bring that right back up. See, that's how much slack we have on our hardware. That's gonna be coming up next once we get all this pulled through here. Wow, that's nice and slack. So see how it comes up nice and tight? Here's where the post will be, and then all the hardware will go right back in nice and easy. Look at that, lines up, man.
that's kind of cool. The heat shrink is making it into the hull, so that's even more protection. Didn't plan that. I'll take it though. Smash the port. Damn, that's some torque. Whoa, did it again. Dang it. So much for a clutch. This thing's out of control.
Now that's looking pretty sweet if you ask me. All the posts lining up going G.I. Joe mode from the top. Holy secret mission. You can't see a single thing. It's completely hidden. That's exactly what I was going for. We were able to get a super tight spacing between the post and the steel, so there's barely any wire showing at all. No dinged up jackets, no drastic bends. Overall, she's smooth going. But of course, there's still the wires in here that are hanging out of the end of the tube, so we'll have to start plumbing those through the shell as well. I would say steel cage, but luckily, it's just the wooden squares this time. Well, wires are all pulled through, just sitting on the side for now. As much as I wanted an easy going plumb job over here, you probably noticed how we jumped right to the big hole. Well, let's just say getting there wasn't so easy. Deep into that first hole, I realized, that's not just wood. Yep, those stinking tabs from mounting the squares smacked me right in the face. Totally forgot that once you pass this point, the steel cage required those tabs because you can't physically fit in to mount them like these ones, and man, was it close. By the time I was finished making the holes large enough with this step bit, I was already riding the edge, cutting through the outside corners entirely. So that was good. Took a 1/2-inch band file from good old Harbor Freight to smooth all the edges down as well. So now we're left with a nice thick grouping of cables all ran through together. Eventually I'll seal it up airtight with some silicone or something like that, but for now we're ready to move on. After all, every step you just watched needs to be repeated for 3 more rows and 9 more subs. Definitely a lot of work involved in this one. Went ahead and added a little extra touch with some voice coil temperature sensors. I always loved my VCI one from like 8 years ago, so why not dabble with a new age PPC a bit, huh? Nella was able to network all 12 XXX subs into one unit. I am psyched, man. Great way to monitor heat and to see if any particular subs heat up faster than others. That'll be really interesting to know. Now, earlier in this video, you saw just how disheveled my workshop has gotten, but instead of lingering in the overwhelm, I went in for the kill. A lot of the problem is because I need to relocate what's on the floor and organize it where it belongs. I've always kind of struggled with that, to be honest. So, in only 1 week's time, I was able to build up a massive second floor to get the ball rolling. I always planned to build a nice big bonus space up here. I just kept putting it off because lumber was like gold there for a while, remember? Holy smokes. It's calmed down now, and so far, she is strong. Made this custom beam by pressure laminating 7 layers of 2x12s with glue, clamps, and almost 2,000 screws. At first, I was just gonna build a traditional floor post style platform, but couldn't quite get over the annoying fact that the center post would be right in the middle of the room. So I made this 30-footer to span the distance instead. Kept things square and level going across the shop with a 3-inch thick base plate that also held up all the boards for me as I went along and scabbed up each row of 2x12s. There's 32 floor joists placed 6 inches on center, all hung 4 to 5 inches above the Nissan. There's gonna be solid blocking every 4 feet, and each vertical column is already anchored into the concrete with glue and screws. Some may ask why I didn't use a steel beam, glue lam, or maybe a LVL option. Well, I thought of every method, and even though I would have loved some of those, this was the only way I could actually tackle things myself without having a huge amount of weight to lift. Doing things with smaller incremental boards was definitely the way for me, and it's standing tall and standing strong, so it's definitely a win in my book. Another win for sure was all this hidden wiring. Wicked pumped about it, man. I always wanted my own plug-and-play sub setup, and here she is looking great. Now, I would continue on right now doing more wiring, but I got an even better idea. If you guys want to see more uncut, nitty-gritty stuff, come back tomorrow for a live stream at 5 p.m. Eastern as we finish up another row with terminals, sensors, obviously some more wires, and just have some fun doing some live real-time action. So yeah, I would love to see you guys there. Until the next video, be sure to check out the links for helpful gear related to today's project, and I'll catch you guys on the rebound, maybe even make a new box for that kicker sub down at Showtime. Heck yeah. Until the next one, this is EXO signing out.